Yes, we can.
Okay, wonderful. My respectful pranams to each one of you. Thanks for joining us this evening. And as Atul said, you are in the first session of the course, which is a month long in whole food plant-based holistic nutrition, which was earlier called Holistic Nutrition and Health Certificate course. I specifically want to welcome and thank all those people who have registered for the course. I really appreciate your interest, and I shall do my best to help you, make the most of this course. I call myself a holistic nutritionist because I blend the Eastern and Western philosophies of food to make it holistic in nature. I strongly believe that science and spirituality should come together because when they come together, they complement each other and make it more meaningful. Science is all about going out with a intellectual or the logical inquiry to find solutions, whereas spirituality is all about going within with Shraddha or faith to find solutions. And that's why when they combine, they make more meaningful solutions. One of the greatest of the playwrights and the poet, Kalidasa, beautifully said, "Never discard all that which is ancient as old and accept everything new as science." It's so important to pick the right from both ends and combine them together to get better results. And that's exactly what I do. I combine the basic principles of nature cure, the Indian traditional philosophies of nature cure and yoga with the modern medical nutrition. And why did I choose these two Indian philosophies? Because these are the philosophies which do not talk about disease. They do not talk about drugs. They only speak about enhancing health, and that's what interests me. Coming to nature cure, the basic premise of nature cure is every organism is capable of self-repair, self-maintenance, and self-rejuvenation, given the proper conditions. Our job is only to create those conditions and environment, and the body is capable enough and intelligent enough to heal, to repair, and keep us in health most of the time. And in the course, you learn how to create these conditions within the body. Coming to yoga philosophy, we always think when we say yoga, it's all about bending the body, but yoga philosophy is all about bending the mind. Why are we bothered about the mind? Because mind is very powerful. And what happens in the mind has a direct influence on the body. Instantly, the biochemistry of the body changes and leads us to health or ill health, depending on what's happening in the mind. So it becomes important to mind the mind and train the mind to do what we want it to do. So these are the three philosophies, and combining them makes it very powerful, is what is my experience of these 25 plus years. It has helped heal thousands of people who have reached me, and they have reversed their complex diseases. And this is what you get to learn in the whole of this course. Coming to the course itself, the sessions are structured in this way. As both me and Atul said, I have picked up the basic facts, principles, and concepts from these three food philosophies and seamlessly, combined them or blended them in a very unique and meaningful way. And this is the first time anybody in the world has done this. And coming to food science, it's a very huge, complex science. And I have put in 3 years of degree, 2 years of master's, and 8 years of research into my formal education and much more. But I have taken the essence of nutrition science and simplified it to such an extent that anybody from any background can digest it, assimilate it, and appreciate it. Every concept I discuss in the course will be evidence-based, whether it is research or the authoritative texts or my own experiences and testimonies from my clients. All these are so fundamental that they'll never change. Any amount of research and time should not change any of these because they are so fundamental. And you need not fear if you will be able to understand, because I'm going to repeat every concept 3 times. Once in the scientific language, once in a common man's language, and then summarize it. So you'll not definitely miss any of it. And the uniqueness of this course is, I don't intend it to become another body of information. I'm sure all of us have enough information at our fingertips, and you don't need somebody to talk about it. But what I do is not just teach, but coach. So as we learn in every session a few concepts, it gets adopted into our lives, and I'm going to monitor that and coach. And that's the uniqueness. At the end of the month, I expect everybody to see a new themselves in terms of maybe energy, health, weight, then mood changes, cravings of food, and also start tapering their medications, probably. And finally, I do not believe in return course and examinations. What is important for me is, have you understood what I'm trying to share and adopt it into your life? If you've adopted most of the concepts which we discuss in this course, then you get your certificates. That's all about a brief of this course. And when it comes to learning, our scriptures say it beautifully. It says, learning becomes effective when there is complete focus, active listening, but in a relaxed way. What? From the texts or research, then put your intellect and kind of contemplate on the concepts and draw your own inferences. Based on the inferences, practice the output. I love this way of, understanding and learning. And to facilitate this happening, what I've done is, we do not share any recordings of any sessions, so that the focus on active listening and, is happening on every day in the sessions. And I will share the summary of each session, a written summary to each one of you. And we have created a WhatsApp community where we'll practice all the concepts which we learn parallelly each single day. And I'll be there monitoring, answering the questions, solving your problems, and coaching you through the month. And this is how the course is designed. Well, what you see on this slide, most of it I'll be covering in today's session in the first chapter, and touching upon the first topic in the second chapter called Panchabhutas. I'll be covering the first topic, ether or space. So we will get to it in a bit. Going ahead, generally, what is lacking is the understanding of how this magnificent body works. Only when we understand the fundamentals of how it works, we will be able to make a decision of what is the right ahara, the food, vihara, the lifestyle, and vichara, the mind space. So it becomes very important to understand the working of this human system. Any machine, from the smallest to the biggest, we have and use in our daily lives, we always understand the workings so that we can use them to the maximum potency and keep them safe, isn't it? We never fill petrol into a diesel car and diesel into a petrol car and expect it to work. We will never do that mistake, isn't it? Because we have understood what needs to be the fuel of that particular model. But none of us seem to understand this beautiful system called the human system, what it needs, how it works. And that'll be the first few sessions to understand how human body works. That doesn't mean that we break down the body into its organ systems, because these reductionist theories and principles don't work when it comes to human body and food, because both of them are very complex. And when it comes to complex systems, isolating them or breaking them down is not the solution. It is important to get them to balance, to harmony, so that they can work, because complex systems always work in synergy with their own components or parts. And here we are talking about two complex systems, the human system and the food. Food, for that matter, works with its own components, and body with its own organ systems, and they combine together and work in synergy to give us the desired results of health. So breaking them down is not the solution. As Dr. Vandana Shiva puts it beautifully, she calls these reductionist theories as nutritionism, and it doesn't work in isolation. Always, it's important to understand and consider this human system as one single unit and provide whole foods so that they decide with their intelligence how to work and what to do. We will learn about each food group in great detail, what is right, what is wrong, or what is healthy, what is unhealthy, but why something is healthy and something is unhealthy. And just to give you some examples, when it comes to grains, it is always thought that eating grains is going to make me obese, or eating grains is going to cause diabetes, or do not eat grains in the dinner, or reduce grains. These are all some things which we have heard constantly, right? But it is so important to eat our grains when you're normal and healthy, to get the, uh, you know, stable energy levels through the day. But the whole problem is what kind of carbohydrates, what kind of grains are healthy, what kind of grains are unhealthy. To understand this, we need to understand the classification of carbohydrates. That's why it becomes very important to understand, the science of it, the biochemistry, the human physiology, a little of anatomy, and all of this. I've tried to simplify it and make it as interesting as possible. When we understand all of this, each one of us will be able to design a healthy, balanced plate or meal for yourself and your loved ones, meal after meal, day after day. And you'll also learn how to make such balanced meals for different genders and age groups also, because we're a combination when it comes to family. And what is a healthy, balanced meal? A meal which consists of all the nutrients required by the human system. So you will be able to make it yourself, and you don't need a nutritionist or a dietitian to do this. They're all very simple, and I'll make you do this for yourself. And going ahead, I feel one of the biggest blunders nutrition science has done is counting calories. In this course, I will ensure you unlearn counting calories and probably learn counting nutrients. It's very important to keep looking for how can I increase nutrients? Where can I increase nutrients? And also look at how can I minimize the loss of nourishment at every level, right starting from the soil to growing to harvesting, transportation, storage, market levels, and the way you bring it home and how you store it at home, preparations, cooking, consuming, everything at every level. We should be looking at how do I consume more nutrients, and you better count your nutrients rather than counting the calories. Going ahead, the minute we say disease, we seem to be scared of this word, but Nature Cure has beautiful concepts about disease. Nature Cure says diseases are very important in our life because when something goes wrong, it gives us an indication, it gives us symptoms, it shows us that with that uneasiness, the loss of easiness is called a disease, isn't it? So it says that, which shows that something is going wrong and we need to pay attention. Without that, we might not pay attention till it becomes so huge and unsolvable. So, Nature Cure says diseases are very important and they are the ones which are going to warn us. And it also goes to say, don't deal with those symptoms. You can't solve anything. Find the cause and remove the cause. It's very simple, isn't it? The Newton's law says that there is no effect without any cause. Similarly, there can't be any disease without a cause. So our job is to find the cause and remove the cause. When we remove the cause, the effect disappears. So in each of these major lifestyle disorders, which I've listed on the screen, we will try to find the causes and understand the solutions. We'll also be touching upon many other complex diseases, but very briefly through the course. But these, which are listed on the screen, like obesity, type 2 diabetes and related issues, hypertension, cardiovascular diseases, dyslipidemia, gut disorders, right from, uh, as simple as constipation to hemorrhoids. We look into all of these, gastritis, acidity, and all of these, and many more, depending on how much time we get. Going ahead, we always think and feel that I'm unable to take care of the control on my plate, what I eat, what I don't eat, and always beat ourselves up for what we do and what we don't do at the plate level. But we fail to understand the culprit is at the mind, not at the plate level. So in the philosophy of yoga, we will understand all about mind and how to train our mind to listen to us. Honestly, we are the masters, we know, and it has to be our slave and listen to what we want it to do. But today, the minds have become our masters and we the slaves, listening to every instruction of the mind. Ramakrishna Paramahamsa relates mind as an elephant. Elephant is very huge and powerful. It can ransack anything and ruin anything on its way. But that puny little mahout sitting on the elephant can control this huge, powerful animal very soon by training it slowly and gradually. There comes a day when the mahout says, sit, and the elephant sits. And he says, stand, and the elephant stands. So, even though it is powerful, we can train this mind and ensure that it listens to what we want it to do. We will learn all about how to train this mind and what are the tools available. Because I have worked with thousands of clients for 25 plus years, I have a lot of tools in my kitty, which my clients have taught me. Every client teaches me hundreds of things. And it's a joy working with each one of them and seeing them get healthier and happier. And yoga philosophy is called the psychology of, or the Indian psychology. So we'll see the connect between the food and our psyche and how food influences our mind. And also we'll look into the classification of yogic philosophy of food of sattvic, rajasic, and tamasic foods. So this is what I have in brief in the whole of the course coming up. And with that, let's begin our learning and unlearning. I want to start with a question of asking why even eat and live right? And I shall answer this with a powerful, small little clip. I'm sure most of you will agree with me that all of us wish to live the way the man in the left-hand side of our video was living. Healthy, fit, mobile, and active. And probably even not depending on any gadgets or anybody all his life. All of us wish to live like that till our ends, isn't it? But what are we doing towards that? It simply can't happen. Health happens when we work towards it. We have to earn health. We cannot, fortunately or unfortunately, buy health for any amount of money. We have to earn it. Just like we earn money every single day, we put in 8 or plus hours of time and a lot of efforts every single day for a whole month to get back our paycheck, isn't it? Exactly like that. Every single day, some amount of time and efforts should be invested into our self-care and only then health happens. It simply doesn't happen. There are no shortcuts, there are no easy ways. It has to happen with effort and time. If anybody is selling it without these two, be very careful. It's not possible, right? Now, some of you, especially the youngsters who have logged in, will say, I've been eating and living badly for quite some time, and I'm absolutely fine. I don't want to believe you, or why would I want to, trust you? But I would want to say, yes, because you're very young, all your organ systems are working to their optimum. Whatever you do, whatever you eat and drink, they will try to repair and bring it back to normalcy, bring it back to harmony, bring it back to balance every single day, just like the mixer you see in front of you. One second, there's something popping up on my screen. Yeah. If you buy a powerful new mixer, it's so sharp, the blades, you can even probably grind the sand to a fine powder. Continue to do that. In just a couple of weeks, the blades will get so blunt, it will not even be able to grind the softest of the fruits, isn't it? Exactly like that. Continue to abuse your body with wrong eating and living. Very soon, every organ, one after the other, starts giving up and you'll be in a soup. So it's very important to understand that we need to take care of this body to be healthy and fit. And here I remember one of the anecdotes I had heard long time back when Sri Ravi Shankar Guruji was speaking. He said, today, most people are running behind three things: name, fame, and money. So they forget about everything else: their food, their sleep, their health, their relationships, home, family, everything they leave or neglect and run behind these three things. But by the time they achieve these three, they've lost everything else. So don't be someone who, kind of spends your health to earn money. Very soon, you will have to spend all of that money to gain back health, which might not be possible also. So it's important to take care of your health is what I'm trying to say. Whatever your goals are in life, whatever you want to achieve, this tool called human body is very, very important, because if it is not healthy and fit, you will not be able to do anything and achieve anything in life. And it's beautifully said, whether you are trying to, be of help and service to the community or the nation, or you simply want to earn money and become rich, or you want to fulfill all your desires, or walk the path of a growth in spirituality leading to liberation. Whatever your goals are, this is the only tool which will help you achieve those goals. Unless it is healthy and fit, you cannot do that. I'm sure all of us remember simple common cold. Just visualize those few days when you have cold. Your nose is blocked, you can't breathe, you feel so heavy, your head is hurting, your whole body is feeling heavy, feverish, your eyes are burning, you're feeling low on energy, mood changes, you just don't want to do anything, isn't it? If that is so with a common cold, imagine getting into complicated diseases and disorders and then trying to achieve something. It's impossible. And to take care of your body to be in health is not any very difficult. They are all simple things to be adhered to on a daily basis, which is what keeps our health. Today, modern medical science and technology has made our life longer. But if this long life is burdened with disease and sickness, there's no meaning to this long life. You live 100 years, and 50 of those you are running around hospitals, doctors, diagnostics, drugs, and dietitians is not a meaningful life, isn't it? So it's important to be healthy and live longer, not just plan to live longer. I know the pain because I have seen elderly people reaching me. They are dealing with their old age, is first thing, multiple diseases and disorders, and multiple drugs. On top of that, their loved ones and children are not around because children go far away today because life takes them away from us. And suffering in old age is torturesome when our loved ones are not around to take care of us. And this is going to be a norm for all of us. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm just trying to put the facts in front of you or remind you about the facts so that the necessary shifts happen towards eating, living, and the mind space. Also, when they reach me and when I'm dealing with them, I see them that they literally have tears in their eyes and they say, when will this end? It was have been nice if I could eat wrong, live wrong, do whatever I want, and one day declare, okay, I'm done. I want to go. If that would happen, it would have been nice. We could do, all of us could do this. But that's not going to happen. We have to reap what we sow. So be careful what you sow so that you can enjoy all those which we saw in the first video as long as we live. This was about how to keep your health or be in health. But what happens when somebody is already sick? In our body, we have a huge opportunity for reversing diseases also. Why? There's a lot of change happening constantly inside our body. At such high speeds, change is happening at every level. Cellular level, molecular level, atomic level, subatomic atomic level, that it gives us a huge opportunity to make the changes. Let me explain. Thousands of cells die inside our body every single day and are replaced with new cells. For example, the cells lining the stomach and the intestine live for few days to a week. They die and they're replaced with new cells. Similarly, if you look at blood cells, depending on what blood cells, few weeks to few months, all of them die and the new ones come up. And the heart cells, to the extent of 5% to 10%, there is rejuvenation every year. And so does the cells of the brain, specifically in the area of hippocampus, where 700 neurons are added every single day, even in our old age. So, when there are so many cells being made every single day, we have a huge window of opportunity here. If we eat right, live right, and manage our stresses, the ones which are going to come now are going to be healthy, fit, and strong. And that's how we can reverse all our diseases and definitely live younger, longer. Science or the research has proved it beyond doubt. Dr. Dean Ornish conducted a huge study with Dr. Elizabeth Blackburn. Dr. Blackburn is the lady who received Nobel Prize for discovering the telomeres. What is a telomere? It is a cap-like structure on the chromosome, our DNA material. As we age, these telomeres become shorter and shorter and shorter. But this experiment or the research showed they took 50 people in a group and followed them up for 5 years. All they did was simple changes in eating. They gave whole food, plant-based food. And they asked the participants in the research group to do any physical activity for a minimum of 30 minutes in a day and decrease the fat consumption and gave them yoga and meditation to calm down their mind. And at the end of 5 years, they saw there was a 10% increase in the length of telomeres, which clearly shows that simple changes in lifestyle is going to keep us younger, longer. And philosophically also, it is very, very true. In the sense, our bodies are designed to be in health, never in ill health. Do anything, body will try as much as possible, wherever possible, to bounce back to health. So just to, cut out on this monotony, let me just tell you this little story from Amar Chitragatha. And I never get tired of saying the story again and again. I must have said it 22 times till now because we have finished this course only 22 batches. So there was a yogi, a sage, and he was doing a lot of sadhana and had yogic powers, living in seclusion in a small little hut of his own. One day, he went to take a bath in a water body near his hut, and he wanted to do the sun salutations, and he took the water in his hand to do the arghya or the sun salutation. And when he picked up water, he saw a little baby mouse in his hand struggling to live. He got pity on the little mouse and he said, okay, let me walk to the bank and leave it there. As he walked to the bank, he saw a hawk flying around and he closed his fist and walked back to his hut and let the mouse go. But this man did not know how to take care of a mouse. So it seems that with his yogic power, he transformed this little mouse into a human baby, a little girl child. And he brought her up. He got so attached with this little daughter of his. He did everything possible to take care of her and her comforts. Soon, she grew up and came to a marriageable age. And this man was very sure that he was going to find a perfect, very strong groom for his daughter. So he went to none other than the sun god with his daughter and said, will you marry my daughter? And the daughter asked the sun god, are you really strong or the strongest as my father describes? And the sun god said, no, because the clouds can cover me anytime and I can't shine through them. Then the father and the daughter duo went to the clouds and asked the same question. And the clouds said, the winds can blow me away anytime, so they are stronger than me. And the both ended up with the wind and asked the same question. Wind said, "Oh, that tall mountain can stop me. So this mountain is stronger." And the both come to the mountain and ask the same question. And the mountain says, "Yes, I am the strongest, no doubt, when it comes to these natural huge elements. But this little mouse can dig a hole from this corner to that corner inside me," he says. And suddenly, this girl, brightens up. She's excited. And she says, "I want to marry this mouse." What I'm trying to say, the whole story is this innate nature of being a mouse has not changed after all these years and being with a yogi and getting trained under him and learning everything. That innate mouseness did not go away anywhere, isn't it? Exactly like that, the innate natural nature of our body to be in health will not go away anywhere. It will always do everything possible to push us towards health. All we need to do is create some environment, do little self care, and it will bounce back to health. Now that we know we should be healthy, where do we put this responsibility on? We've always depended on these two industries, the health industry and the medical industry, to take care of our health. We always think all those packets in my supermarket, somebody has legally checked that it is safe for human consumption, and that is why they have been allowed to be sold in the supermarket. There was a study done where the researchers said, let's remove all those packets which have sugar from the supermarket shelves, because we know how harmful, how toxic, how disease causing the sugar is. And I don't think I have to tell you the results of this study. There was no packet, tin, or bottle left on the supermarket shelves. Why? Because everything, whether they were sweet, sour, salty, spicy, everything had some amount of sugar in some quantities and in some form. Why do everything which is factory made has sugar? Two basic ideas or concepts behind it is: one, sugar is a preservative. So it increases the shelf life of their products, and they will ensure that sugar is present in their products. Second, sugar is highly addictive. This is what takes us back to their products again and again and again without fail. And that's exactly what they want us to do. Get addicted to their products. Otherwise, how will they sell their products? Isn't it? They hire the brilliant, food scientists of the world, paying them millions of dollars to create this perfect concoction of taste, flavors, and textures, so that we get hooked on to their products. Sugar, research shows, is 8 times more addictive than the cocaine. So you can understand what sugar does to our minds and how we can't let go of these products once we get hooked on to them. I know the pain and struggle with the clients who reach me. They will have done everything on earth to let go of these, cravings, because they don't have any more control. So don't get into it. I don't know, these days I don't see TV at all, but long time back, when I was seeing TV, I would see the Saif Ali Khan would come with this huge bags of Lay's chips saying, you cannot stop at one. Absolutely, you can't stop at one. They're designed that way. So don't allow yourself to get hooked onto these factory made foods and think everything which is available in the supermarkets, somebody is looking into it, taking care that they are all safe. Absolutely no. Till 2024, the Indian, ICMR, the medical research, did not wake up. It did not do anything about these till the YouTube influencers became so big and they started speaking so much about food and how it is affecting our health. Did ICMR and NIN, the National Institute of Nutrition, wake up and they made a lot of changes with the packaged foods. And clearly, ICMR says that the packaged foods do not label their packets properly. The information they give is incomplete and incorrect. They also made changes in the allowance of sugar. And I seriously don't understand if somebody or a medical body or a food body has to recommend sugar in spite of knowing what they do to our bodies and mind. Unfortunately, yes, sugar is still recommended to whatever levels in each country. And so it becomes our responsibility to see what goes into our system. And coming to the health industry, today we are so badly sick as a society that instead of taking care of our wellness, the medical industry is busy taking care of our sickness. And honestly, if you ask me, doctors are not trained to take care of our wellness. They're trained to diagnose diseases, whatever they are, perfectly using whether they're tools or procedures or whatever, but they are capable of finding the right diagnosis of what is wrong inside the body. They thoroughly know the in and out of the body, the physiology, the anatomy, everything. And they also know how to treat the symptoms and ensure people don't suffer with the symptoms with drugs and procedures. That's what they're trained to, and that's what they're doing. There is absolutely nothing to blame them or question them or expect them to take care of our health. They're trained to do that. I understand that they get 5 hours of training in nutrition or they study nutrition during their 5 years of MBBS. And also the way they get to see the patients, just a couple of minutes. I have number of doctor friends. I hear that they see anything like 80, 100 patients in a day. They're also human beings, isn't it? How do you expect them to sit with each one of them and correct their lifestyle? Almost impossible, humanly impossible. So it is not to blame anybody and put responsibility on anybody else outside. It is very, very important to take responsibility of our health and take charge of ensuring this health happens. And I honestly don't know what this means when you enter a supermarket. Now that we have understood that we have to take care of our health and we have to become responsible for our health, where do we start? Should we go to a well-known good path lab in the locality, get all our blood work done and the body work done, get the reports, and of course you have 2 columns, your readings and the so-called normal magical numbers. Compare them. If you are in the normal limits, happy. Continue to eat wrong, live wrong, forget about it. If it is not right, then go drug yourself or add some supplements and continue to live eat wrong. This is what is the norm. But I'm bringing in nature cure concept here. Nature cure says you don't have to go out anywhere to understand whether you're healthy or not. It gives us simple, assessment tools to understand if we are healthy or not. If you have a pen and a paper, you can make a note of all these parameters and see for yourself if you are healthy or not. So these are the self-assessment tools. The first one Nature Cure says is, are you feeling well? This feeling of well-being has to come from within, and it has to be everywhere inside our body. There are people who reach me with huge files, all the parameters checked, almost all of them are normal, and the doctor has said, all is well, don't worry. And they come to me, I have no clue why my hand raises like this, and I don't know how to quickly bring it back. Anyway, I'm going to forget about it. Yeah. So, and they come to me saying, is there a possibility of helping me? And when I ask them, describe, they say, I can't describe. There's something happening. Everything is normal, is what my parameters say, but I know that there's something wrong with me. I feel, not interested in life, or I feel low in energy, or my moods change very quickly. Something is happening inside me. Can you help? So, this feeling of wellness within has to permeate everywhere inside the body, and that Nature Cure says is the first sign that you are healthy, without which you are not healthy. And the second thing it offers is timely and effortless elimination of waste. One of the basic principles of Nature Cure is every disease is because of the accumulation of toxins inside the body. Sooner or later, it is going to create diseases and disorders. So, it is very important to have complete elimination first thing in the morning and throw out everything which the body does not need or considered necessary, and get rid of them. Otherwise, they sit inside the body and rot, leading to diseases. So it says first thing in the morning, you should be able to eliminate. And if it is happening, then you're healthy. If you are unable to eliminate, or if you need something to eliminate, then you're not healthy. And the next thing it talks about is keen hunger. I think this generation does not even understand what keen hunger means, probably, because we are constantly eating something. Every 2 hours, we are eating something, or we are told to eat something. And some people have a bowl of something in front of them, or a bottle of something, and keep eating or drinking constantly through the waking hours. Our guts are not designed to work 24/7. It's very, very important to rest them. When does hunger happen? Only when a meal is completely, broken down, that is digested, absorbed, assimilated, and metabolized. Only then the hunger satiety hormones start working and signal hunger. And where do you see hunger or appetite when you're eating like this? It's almost impossible. Many, many people reach me with absolutely no appetite at all. They can stay for days without creating an hunger. So Nature Cure says you have no right to eat the next meal without creating a keen hunger. And if you are unable to create this keen hunger, you're not healthy. Deep sleep. Why is deep sleep so important? It is in the sleep that our body produces rejuvenation and repair hormones. And in sleep is where this repair happens to the maximum. And so deep sleep becomes very, very important. And today, for many very reasons, youngsters have so much to do in their hands and on their table that they can't put themselves to sleep. And the elders have so much happening in their heads, they can't put themselves to sleep. This constant worry and chatter in the head or the stress will not allow us to relax enough and drift away into the sleep. Sleep at every age has become a huge challenge today. And Nature Cure says if you cannot put yourself to deep sleep, how does it define a good sleep? You should be able to go off to sleep as you put your head to the bed in just another few minutes. Get a good, deep, restful sleep and wake up fresh. Only then you had a deep sleep. And if you're unable to put yourself to sleep, you're not healthy. Next comes cheerful mind. When you have so much of pain or disease and disorder, how can you keep your mind cheerful? None of the body parts should remind us of its presence if you are healthy. If any of the parts are telling that I'm here, means that there is some trouble in that particular part of the body and you can't keep your mind cheerful. Mind health is equally or more important than the physical health also. Fit body. Unfortunately, industry today tells us it's okay to be obese. It offers huge meal plates, huge cinema seats, huge dresses, conveying to us that it's okay to be huge. Absolutely no. Obesity is the mother of diseases and it starts with obesity. So it becomes very important to be lean and fit. Don't wake up after you reach 100. What are you doing? Even 1 kg or couple of kgs, when you increase, you will start feeling uneasy. Your clothes become tighter. You feel heavy. So you know something is happening. Take care. When it is smaller, it becomes easier to fix things than looking at it when it becomes huge giant in front of us. Absence of laziness. Laziness is a disease of the mind. A healthy mind is always active, full of energy, and ready to do all the daily activities with full of enthusiasm. But laziness is a sign of a lethargic or the tamasic mind. Otherwise, a sattvic mind is always, active. If you feel lazy naturally, then you have a diseased mind sitting in a diseased body. You are not healthy, is what is the understanding. Graceful movements because of our sleeping habits, the beds, the footwear, the postures, the sitting, and constant action in the mind and not in the physical body. Absolute no activity to the body and constant happening in the mind is what creates the problem with the movements. And if we don't have any, again, Nature Cure says you're not healthy. Coming to the last one, our bodies are capable of maintaining equal distribution of heat throughout the body in spite of changes in the environment like climate or season. But if there is differences of heat in the body, it means to say something is, cooking inside. So Nature Cure says if there is difference of heat through the body, then you are not healthy. So by now, I'm sure where each one of us stand, whether we are healthy or not. We don't need an expert outside to tell us. Now, what do we do with these parameters? Like we do our yearly check, do we check these every year once? Absolutely no. Be aware of them all the time on a daily basis. And if something goes wrong, one or more are wrong, what do? My master, Dr. Arun Sharma ji, who is a naturopath from the Pudukottai School of Natural Hygiene, now who resides in USA and is the founder of a huge school called Imana, is my master and the mentor. He says it beautifully. Don't check your parameters, check your habits. Because we are doing something wrong with our habits of eating, living, and thinking, something is going wrong inside. So instead of checking the parameters, check your habits and correct the habits, and everything will get corrected. This is all we need to do. And at this point, let me take a minute to, offer my gratitude to all the masters, gurus, teachers, and mentors who have made me what I am today, and also my family, especially my immediate family, because they've always stood with me. Even today, both my boys help me and support me in all the work I do. More than that, what gives me satisfaction and, happiness as a mother is that they are interested in this work and follow to a large extent. What else do I want as a mother, isn't it? So I am thankful and grateful to everybody who has made me what I am today. And let me leave you with a thought here. There are so many thousands of reactions happening inside the body constantly all the time. We probably know few hundreds. I'm just taking a guess. It's few hundred parameters. We know how to check them. We know their normals. And we keep doing this. But what happens to all those thousands of parameters which we still don't know? We don't know their normal values. We don't know how to check them. What's happening with those thousands of parameters? Have you ever thought about that? If we leave those to the intelligence of the body and we don't bother about them and body is taking care of them constantly, why the hell are we bothered about these few which we know? Ask yourself, reflect upon this the next time you think of drugging yourself or adding a supplement to your system. Now, again, I'm bringing a concept of nature cure here. As I said earlier, it defines and looks at disease completely in a different way, and it's very important to understand. Of course, we will deal with it in great detail as we go ahead in the course, but right here, I want to define disease and health. It says, if you have a filthy body, if you have complete collection of filth and toxins and chemicals inside your body starts a process of cleansing and cleaning and detoxifying. During this process, there is a disturbance of this ease, and that is why it is called disease. And you feel that pain and disturbance and trouble. These are all the symptoms of body trying to clean and detoxify. And that's why I said every acute disease in nature cure is considered a friendly disease, and it has come to warn us that something is wrong. Do something about it. And when there is no toxin collected inside the body, when there is body which is clean, the environment, the condition inside the body clean, definitely health thrives. You don't have to do anything about health. You just have to remove the toxins and health happens, is what Nature Cure talks about. And talking about cleansing, we will look at elimination and adopt it. This is the first assignment in today. So we know how important elimination is, and we need to cleanse ourselves on a daily basis. Remove as much filth, unwanted substances we have inside the body, knowingly or unknowingly. And this happens with complete elimination first thing in the morning. How do we do that? Let me explain and then get back and retell the same thing. As soon as you wake up, that is, when you become vertical from the horizontal position, don't look for your phones or your laptops. Walk straight into the bathroom and sit on your pot. If you have an Indian style, wonderful. If you don't, come to a squatting position using the stepper stools. I will show you the picture in a bit. Stepper stools are available very easily on online. Buy them so that you can create that angle. If you're sitting as if you're sitting on a chair, straight thighs and legs, you will have to struggle or it becomes a challenge. But if you can create that angle, your thighs going up and then your legs coming down, that angle helps flushing out of the stool easily. Of course, when you start using the stool, you might find it challenging because any practice for that matter, when you start, a little adjustment is necessary. But in a week or so, you will be able to sit properly and use it. So use one of these, the Indian style to squat or the stepper to create this angle so that elimination becomes easy and quick. Don't sit and finish the business in a couple of minutes and say, I am done. It is not possible. There is a huge 5 meter and beyond long tube called the colon or the large intestine. And it takes some time for everything to get out of the system. Sit there for 10 minutes or more. How do you sit there? Relax. If your mind is working on planning, worrying, and thinking of I'll do this, I'll do that, I'll do this after this, no. It is very important to relax because this business happens based on how the muscles relaxed, based on the inputs from the nervous system. So if your mind is occupied with something stressful and worrisome, this will not happen properly. So no newspapers, no phones, nothing goes into the bathrooms. Sit relaxed for some time and allow complete elimination to happen. If it's happening, wonderful. You're blessed. If it's not happening, continue to sit like this every single day for just a few days to few weeks, and you will understand this will get, relayed to the brain that this is the time for elimination and it will start happening. But you have to create this habit. Please have some patience and create this habit. It will take some time. But every day, sitting has to happen. Whether the business happens or not doesn't matter. Sitting has to happen in a relaxed way for 10 minutes so that the body understands that this is the time for elimination. If this doesn't help, brush your teeth and drink a glass of water in sips. If you want, it can be warm water or lukewarm water. Then stand erect, massage your stomach or abdomen clockwise, very gently for a couple of minutes, and then go and sit on the pot relaxed for another 10 minutes, and then it might happen easily. So train yourself to do this slowly and gradually. So this is the first assignment for all of you. What do you do? First thing in the morning, because we have understood this is very important, elimination has to happen effortlessly and completely. Sit on the pot for 10-15 minutes, relaxed. Indian toilets are ideal. Observe breathing and stay calm. Don't rush. This hurry is what is killing us in today's world. Don't rush. And if you have to sit there for 10 minutes and also observe your breathing, I'm sure you understand your bathrooms need to be clean. If need be, brush, sip a glass of water, and massage your abdomen few times clockwise and sit back on the pot. Body will soon recognize and adopt to eliminate. Hope you've all understood. And this is what I want you to do from tomorrow morning. All of you try doing this first thing in the morning. And all those people who have enrolled into my course, you have no choice at all. You have to do this every single day, right from tomorrow morning, and report back to me in the WhatsApp group. If it happened, wonderful. If it didn't, and you had some challenge and you want some help, you will write about it in the group and I shall help you with that. Of course, we are doing a lot more thing going ahead, increasing the fiber, water content, nutrients, calming down the mind. A lot of things will be added as we go ahead in the course. But this is the first step towards complete effortless elimination. And when I say only a person who is constipated understands the pain and struggle he's going through. It is so uncomfortable, so heavy, and feels, not flexible in the body and mind. And they struggle constantly through the day. But in the same breath, let me also say, for somebody who can eliminate completely, also knows how nice a feeling this is, how light, fresh, and joyful it feels after a complete elimination. Both these feelings cannot be seriously described in words. So it is important to experience this. To experience this, this is the first step. And as you see in the picture, this is the stepper stool. They're very, I think it costs something like 800, 900 rupees. Bring them in and fit them here with your commode, and it will create that angle which was I was talking. So start following this from tomorrow morning. And with this assignment, let me finish or end the first chapter. Of course, there are a couple of topics left. I'll handle it in the next session on Monday. Let me go to few important concepts today because a lot of people have come just for this session and I want them to get some benefit out of some, concrete concepts. Now let's look into what is food. To begin with, I would like to define food from all these three food philosophies. Nutrition science says anything which is edible, anything which nourishes this body and provides energy to sustain is called food. Let me repeat. Food is something which is edible. It should nourish us and give us energy to sustain. So three things here. We should be, it should be edible and it should have all the nutrients which can nourish me, and it should also supply energy. And coming to nature cure, it says just providing nourishment is not enough. Food should also provide healing, material to heal. Food should provide healing substances. What are those? Huge amounts of vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and phytochemicals. How do we get them? Natural foods. The fresh produce, eating more and more and more of fruits, vegetables, and green leafy vegetables. The way the nature gives is what heals us, repairs us, and brings us to health is what Nature Cure says. Coming to yogic philosophy, it says if you look at food on the plate, it's not enough because this human system is not just made up of the physical body, the Annamaya Kosha. It is made up of 5 layers of existence. This Annamaya Kosha is made up of Anna and is maintained by Anna, the food. And that's why it is called Annamaya Kosha. And we have other koshas similarly, like the Pranamaya Kosha, the Manomaya Kosha, Vijnanamaya Kosha, and the Anandamaya Kosha. And we have to provide healthy food to all these layers of existence so that we can be healthy. And we'll look into all of these as we go ahead in the course. Both these philosophies, the yogic philosophy and the nature cure, both of them talk about a particular philosophy or the concept called the natural elements or the Panchabhutas. So let me deal with Panchabhutas in a little detail today. Before I go there, Indian cosmology looks at food in very many ways. And one of the interesting ways, I have taken this from Chandogya Upanishad. It says, what goes through the senses and feeds the mind also is food. Like if we put crap into the stomach and we get a stomach upset, if we put crap through the sense organs, we get a mind upset. It says, be careful what you put through the senses. Depending on what input goes through the senses, we can have those minds and mental health can be shifted. So, because it's very, simple and easy to understand, I just brought in that perspective so that we can think about what goes through our senses also. Because today we don't seem to bother about what goes through our senses. That is also food. It is not just the food on the plate. Now, both yogic philosophy and nature cure says this body is made up of 5 natural elements called Panchabhutas. Because this body is made up of Panchabhutas, it is essential to expose ourselves to all these 5 natural elements on a daily basis to be in health. And when something goes wrong, it's even more important and intense exposure is necessary for repair. For example, if this sari is made up of cotton threads and if it tears, I need cotton threads to fix it, to repair it. I cannot use iron or wood or something like that to fix it, isn't it? So we need the material which that particular thing is made up of to fix it. Because body is made up of Panchabhutas, it is essential to use Panchabhutas as food is what I'm trying to say. Now I have picked up this particular mantra from Taittiriya Upanishad. When I say Upanishad, it has nothing to do with any particular religion. It's a body of knowledge. And this shloka or the mantra is from the 2nd chapter of Taittiriya Upanishad called Brahmanandavalli, sometimes simply called Anandavalli. And it is from the section 1. What does it say? It says, from the cosmos arises space, and from the space comes wind, and from the wind comes fire, and out of which comes water, and finally comes the earth. And from the earth comes the plant kingdom, and from there the animal kingdom, including this animal called human being. So, human being is made up of all these elements, and that is why we need all of them. And today we'll look into, yes, this is one of the remarks one of the biggest of the scientists made. We'll look into the space. When I say we will discuss these elements, I don't mean to say we are going to discuss and understand everything about it, because these are all huge subjects and also have different perspectives. What I'm trying to do here is take a small, kind of bit of it, which is pertaining to health, body, and food, so that we can use it for our benefit. So, let us look into space. Earth is the grossest element, and from there, from the side of the earth, water is less grosser or more subtler. Fire is even more subtler, air much more, and space is the subtlest. And Taittiriya Upanishad says that the more and more subtler, the more and more powerful it becomes. So we are going to look into one of the subtlest, most powerful element of nature, the space. When I say space, it is also called ether. I'm only looking at creating some space in my stomach. Yes, you heard me right. It is that dreaded word called fasting. When I say fasting, I'm just wondering where to start. Okay. Let us look at a common man's diet before getting into the fasting. We always are told when we eat stomach full to the brim is what gives us health. But let us look at fasting and understand fasting now. If you look at a common man eating, as we wake up, we will drink a cup of some beverage with a couple of biscuits or rusk or whatever. Soon, a huge meal comes along called breakfast, and we've been told the breakfast should be huge, rich, and biggest of the meal. After that, in a couple of hours, we either don't have anything and we are bored, or we have too much to do and we are stressed, or we are in a company, and so we end up drinking another cup of a beverage. Very soon, there's another huge meal called lunch. Even before it goes and settles in, evening comes with a cup of coffee or tea or something else along with eating something. And in just another hour or two, another huge meal called dinner. And some people have a habit of drinking a large glass of milk before they sleep. Oh my God. Can you imagine the mess inside the gut? Well, I am not at this point of time interested in what's happening in the gut. I leave that alone. Let us come back to fasting. Not eating anything. Now, what happens? When we were eating like that, a lot of energy and time our body was using to break them down, to absorb them, to assimilate them, and throw out the unwanted stuff, isn't it? A huge amount of energy and time was going in. But now, when I say fasting, nothing going inside. Now, lot of time and energy is saved or conserved by the body. And now, body says, how can I use this energy and time? Let me give you an example. If you are a working man or woman, you will understand that you are constantly in a hurry on a daily basis. You just don't have time and energy. So you throw things here and there in the house. You don't get time to clean up. And by the time you come back, you're completely tired and exhausted, and you don't have energy to put things back. But when the weekend arrives, you will say, okay, I have some time and I am free and I have the energy. Let me clean up and put things back. Isn't it? Exactly like that, the body behaves. Now, when you fast, when you stop eating, the brain says, oh, wow, nothing coming inside. So we have a lot of time and energy. What shall we do? First thing it does is take up the cleaning work. Whatever was accumulated, whatever was unwanted, but it did not have the time and energy to clean, it starts cleaning. And so detoxification happens during fasting. Another important thing happens during fasting. Because there is a lot of energy and time, the body also takes up repair work. Whatever repair and healing was, accumulated, it starts repair and healing. So this important work of healing and reversal happens during fasting. That's why fasting becomes very important. 2016, Dr. Osumi, a cell biologist from Japan, got a Nobel Prize for deciphering the mechanism behind fasting. He said or proved that even damage at the DNA level gets corrected during fasting. That is the beauty of fasting. It heals, it repairs, and it reverses. Did we get to know in 2016 about fasting? No. We Indians have been fasting for thousands of years. And what did our ancestors say? Langhanam paramaushadham. What is langhanam? Fasting? Paramaushadam. There is no better treatment. There is no bigger drug. So they knew that repair, healing, detoxification, everything happens during fasting. And even more important, I would say, the whole world knows this physiological benefits which fasting gives. But the Indian contribution to the whole world of fasting is this. What is the name, Indianized name of fasting? It is called Upavasa. The Sanskrit name has two words, Upa and Vasa. Upa is near, Vasa is to live. What does that mean? Fasting and living near. Our ancestors knew much more than this body and mind, and they are attempting to achieve much more. So, the whole crux of Indian philosophy is do not find happiness somewhere outside. Bliss is within, and find it within. Of course, I'm not somebody who can guide you or tell you more than this at this point in time. I'm trying to tell you that this is the crux of Indian philosophy. And so they created tools to reach there. You can call it by any name you want. You want to call it self, Atma, God, Paramatma, do whatever you want. But generally, our senses are turned outside, seeking small little temporary pleasures. But during fasting, they turn inwards, and this inward journey takes us towards that self. And so it was called the Sanskrit word upavasa. Isn't it so beautiful to understand even this? And they used this to heal themselves. They did it regular basis, every 15 days, every week. They did it so that they could detoxify, they could heal, they could repair, and also walk towards this inner journey of spirituality. So with that, let me come to a text because I don't want you to think I'm telling you stories. Now, I've picked up all the statements from a Nature Cure textbook. First thing it declares is fasting directly is not going to heal. It's not going to repair. It's not going to, do anything with reversing of the disease, but it creates the rest to the gut where conservation of energy happens because of this rest, and that conserved energy is what repairs, heals, cleans, and reverses the disease. Be very, very clear of this statement. Now I'm just going to read what you can see on the slide. Whatever I've explained in common man's language, I'm just going to read from the text. We automatically stop ingestion of unsuitable foods, which itself promotes health. So let me define fasting here. It is not our kind of fasting where we eat 1 dozen bananas or 1 kg of upma or 1 liter of milk. No. Fasting simply means being on water and nothing else. So automatically you stop ingestion of every kind of food, which will itself be very beneficial. Stomach and intestines empty themselves of accumulated unexcreted body wastes. All organs of elimination get an opportunity to intensify their normal functions. Promotes increase in metabolic activity. Please be careful. I'm not talking about a metabolic rate. It is metabolic activity. What is metabolic activity? Breaking down something inside the body, building something inside the body is called metabolism. Fasting allows an opportunity to normalize the chemical composition, which is going haywire. It gets normalized and harmonized. Allows body an opportunity to regenerate and rejuvenate the cells. Digestive organs are rested and regenerated, and thus digestion and assimilation of nutrients get enhanced after fasting. Fasting conserves vital nervous energy also and clears off toxins in the brain, helping better clarity in thought. And fasting improves the function of almost every cell organ system. This is what the benefit we get from fasting, physiological benefits. Where did I take all these statements from? A Nature Cure textbook called How to Fast, Nature's Method for Restoration of Health. This was written by a naturopath called Kenneth S. Jeffrey. When he was 20 years old, got cancer of the lung, and he was declared that he will be alive for very few months. He started searching how to heal himself, and he found many ways. He fasted for 48 days and, of course, adopted the right or healthy ways of eating, living, adopted all the natural elements, and lived up to the ripe age of 90, absolutely healthy and fit. And during his lifetime, he wrote many textbooks, published a lot of articles, and helped thousands of people on this path to reversal of diseases. And he's considered one of the pioneers of Nature Cure, and I have taken all these statements from his textbook. Now that we have finished the textbook of Nature Cure, let us look at research papers very quickly for the want of time. Oh yeah, before that, I'm just reiterating that fasting directly does not heal. It is the rest, the condition it creates where conservation of energy happens, and this heals and reverses the diseases. Okay. Now, again, in India, fasting is always, it is associated with puja, prayer, vratam, and things like that. Why? It is not easy to fast. It is the most challenging thing to do that. But with all this understanding, you will start thinking, okay, I want to fast because I want to cleanse. I want to detoxify. I want to heal. So with this understanding, you have to do it on your own. It should happen. Fasting should not be imposed. Fasting should not be done. It should happen on its own, is the first thing to understand. And second thing, when it is associated with doing something else where the mind is, occupied in something positive, which gives us positive vibrations and helps us with positive energy, it becomes simpler. Because they did it so regularly, every 10 days or every 15 days, it was very important for them to associate with some god or prayer or temple or something. And truly, it helps. When you do some chanting or prayers, it becomes easy because you can take the mind away from, oh my God, I have not eaten. Oh my God, I have not eaten. Oh my God, I have not eaten. When will I eat? What will I eat? What will I cook? From all these thoughts around food, the mind is taken away into a positive field. When mind is around food, thinking, cribbing, crying, it is no fasting. It becomes starvation. And there is a difference between starvation and fasting. What we are looking at is fasting. So don't be in a hurry. Just because I told you a naturopath did 49 days of fasting, don't start off. Please let me repeat. You will not do any longer fasts without the help or guidance of a true naturopath. You will not take up any of these. These are all for education and understanding purposes only. But of course, I'll give you as an assignment in the way I want you to do as I go ahead. Okay. With that, let me just go into the research papers. This is Dr. Osumi for you. What did he do? His work was on autophagy. What is autophagy? As the word suggests, he has proved that when you stop eating, all those cells which are healthy, fit, can, stay alive even in spite of no food coming in, because they are healthy and fit. But those cells which are weak, unhealthy, rogue, cancerous, they cannot survive without food. So they all will dissolve itself, kill themselves, and that is called autophagy. And he said, while you fast, when you do fasting, the cancerous cells die, and so you can get protection against developing cancer. And also, if you have cancer, fasting in a particular way under the guidance of a naturopath will help you reverse cancers. Also, of course, it depends on what stage and how long and what else are the conditions inside the body. Now, there are different kinds of fasting. I'm not getting into any of those because I want you to adopt the simplest practical way of fasting. And because of the want of time, I'm just quickly going through this particular paper, which was released by the Osher Center of Integrative Medicine. Talks about, yes, fasting was well known very quite early in the history, and the father of medicine, Hippocrates, also believed and knew that fasting helps in healing the body. This paper is published in 2019 from this particular University of California, and the researchers say that by fasting we can correct the circadian rhythm, which ultimately leads to the improved health and protection against age associated diseases, that is almost all the lifestyle diseases. And now I have picked up some bits from different research papers talking about different diseases. I'm just going to read it for you. This paper was published in 2002, and it says long-term fast, 82% of people saw blood pressure fall to healthy levels of 120 by 80 mmHg or even less. The average drop of blood pressure was 20 mm by 7 mm in systole and diastole. So fasting helps in reducing the blood pressure. Now let's come to another paper which was published in 2013. Here, 30 adults, healthy adults, followed a water fast for 24 hours. Just in 24 hours, what did they find? They had significantly lower blood levels of cholesterol and triglycerides, which are the most important risk factors in cardiovascular diseases. And of course, this paper is talking about the decreased risk of cancer, which we have understood with Dr. Osumi's work. And this paper was published in 2021. This paper is a review. What is a review? Lot of papers of research papers which was done till that point in time. They collect all the important papers and put them all together and put the essence of this into their review paper. And in this review paper, what did it find? It said that both intermittent fasting and alternate day fasting were as effective as limiting calorie intake at reducing insulin resistance. They are talking about type 2 diabetes. It helps. And this particular paper, which was published in 2014, what does it say? It benefits the digestive system because it gives rest to the digestive system. It also talks about good gut bacteria, which we will discuss because it's a huge topic. We will do it as we go ahead for a couple of hours for that matter. So going ahead with few more papers. This was published in 2000 and the researchers found that short-term fasting may boost metabolism by increasing levels of neurotransmitter norepinephrine. Why? It enhances weight loss because it breaks down the fat. And in the same breath, the same paper also says that it was not just about fat loss, it also preserved the muscles. So all the youngsters listening to me, don't worry, your muscle loss, mass will be not lost in spite of fasting. And this was on the brain health. And this paper talks about, this is one of my mentors, Dr. Gangadhar from NIMHANS. He used to be the director of NIMHANS for a long time, and he's retired now. His paper and his research talks about this release of a chemical called BDNF. It is the brain-derived neurotropic factor. It is released during fasting. And what does it do? It is required for the brain health to repair the mechanisms of the brain and protect the functions of the brain. And this was practicing intermittent fasting may also help you sleep better. Some people, especially my clients, tell me, oh, you want me to eat early? I can't sleep if I don't eat. If I'm not full or if I get hungry, I can't sleep. But research shows when you have completed digestion of your last meal is when you can get a good sleep. And during periods of fasting, your body undergoes repair and rejuvenation, which I spoke about, that are linked to longer lifespan. And look at this. This is not even fasting. It has just decreased calorie intake, and I've taken it from a cancer paper. So how many adaptations or changes happen when you fast? At every level, cellular level, molecular level, metabolic level, lot of shifts and changes happen inside the body. And that is why fasting helps. Now, finally, this is what every animal in nature does. They generally don't get sick because they don't do anything what we do. Wrong eating, wrong living, wrong thinking. None of that happens with the animal kingdom in the wild. Not those animals which are our pets. They are used to eating what we feed and they get all the diseases of what we get. But I'm talking about the animals in the wild. They don't get sick, but what do they do when they get sick? This you will have experienced with your pets also. The minute they get sick, they will simply stop eating. First thing they'll do is stop eating, fasting, and they'll lie down as if they're dead and you get scared and rush them to the vet. So they'll simply lie down, rest, rest, and rest. When they feel like, they will sip on a little water. And when they feel cold, they'll slowly walk to where the sunlight is coming and lie down there also, warm up their body, again come back to shade and sleep. This is all they do. And this is all is necessary to do when you get sick. This is the principle of nature cure. And this particular statement I've taken from this textbook of Nature Cure, written by Dr. Gala and Gala. Both are brothers, both are doctors, and they have published this book. What do they do? What do they say? Beasts and birds instinctively avoid taking food to get rid of illness. And there is a loss of appetite is a prominent symptom of every disease. I'm sure all of us have gone through it, right? Anything happens inside the body, first thing is loss of appetite. Body is telling us, don't eat, stop eating. I want to repair, I want to cleanse. Something is bothering me, so let me take care of this, don't eat. If you eat, I'll have to start digestion work. But what do? We add more masalas, we add more oil, we get more outside food because my tongue, nothing tastes on my tongue, right? So it is very important to understand the signals of the body and listen to the body. What do you do when you fall sick? Fast, rest, get some sun, and sip on water. Of course, when you start doing it, get the help of a naturopath or get in touch with me, and especially people with diseases, any disease for that matter. If you have a disease, the way of fasting differs for you. So please do not attempt on your own. What can you safely attempt? All of you, except diabetics. Everybody can do this. What is this? This is called approach to fasting. What is approach to fasting? It is very simple and very short so that your body gets used to fasting. What do we do here? You can pick up one day of the week which you think is practical for you to rest physically, mentally, emotionally. And that particular day, every week, that particular day, you will do this half day fasting. What do you do? As you wake up, you'll not drink anything other than water. You keep drinking water whenever you want, how much ever you want in sips. And the temperature of the water should be the temperature your body wants, depending on the season and the climate. If the season and the climate is cold and your body is asking for warm water, not hot water, warm or lukewarm water. If the temperature is hot outside and you want cold water or plain water, you can do so. So sip on water whenever you want to, how much ever you want to. How long? Till lunchtime. At lunch, eat fruits. Not too many of them, one or two types, but the quantity you want. Preferably soft and sweet fruits, the quantity you want, till you feel full. Eat slowly, chew properly. I said fruits, not fruit juices. Be mindful of that. And then evening, you can drink a tender coconut water if you want to. And if you belong to any other country where you don't get fresh tender coconut water, make a dilute fresh fruit juice, which I mean to say, make a fruit juice and add 50% water into it. No sweeteners added, and you can sip on this in the evening. Next, when you get hungry, have an early dinner, and dinner can be anything made at home, simple, with less spices, no oil or very less oil. This is what I want you to do every week, every week, so that body gets accustomed. You will not have any problem. And also some amount of cleansing, detox, and also repair happens with this half a day fasting. So let me repeat again. What do? Pick one day of the week where you have practically less activity, because if you're fasting and you're doing more physical activity, mental activity, the purpose is lost. Why? You're doing fasting only to create that window of rest so that you conserve the energy. Don't forget the basic purpose. Drop off the morning juice or beverage and breakfast. Keep sipping water whenever you want to, how much you want to, till lunchtime. And at lunch, eat soft fruits for lunch. Evening, have a tender coconut water or fresh fruit juice mixed with water. And have an early dinner, simple light cooked meal. It can be as simple as a khichdi with rice, little of green gram dal, lots of vegetables, green leafy vegetables, everything cooked together without oil, and eat it slowly and chew properly. Do not overeat, because you have fasted through the day. You will think, oh my God, I'll eat the whole handa of it. Don't do that. You will not be able to do also. Actually, the stomach shrinks and you can't eat the way you have visualized that your hunger has happened. But eat slowly and eat as much as you want. Don't overeat, is what I'm trying to say. So all of you can practice this, except people with diabetes and people with gut disorders like acidity and gastritis. Acidity and gastritis, you will not be able to, fast, because it can be painful, and no there is no need for any kind of suffering. You need to heal yourself and then do the fasting, right? So don't get into fasting. If you're diabetic and if you're on medication, if you do fasting and take medication, you will get into hypo and you will create trouble for yourself. So be very careful. First time when you do, diabetics can do. This is the way to reverse your diabetes. But until you are capable of doing it on your own, you'll have to do it under a complete guidance of a naturopath. So all the people who have enrolled into the course, don't start doing anything. This is just for information as of now, but I have not completed. Let me complete on Monday and then I'll give you the assignment. As of now, just fix a day for your half day fasting and that should be good enough. So we had 2 assignments today. One, first thing in the morning, elimination. Second, fix 1 day of the week for your fasting. Take your time, no hurry at all, right? With that, let me stop. Otherwise, no, I'm not going to do all of this. Otherwise, you will not have time for question answers. I'm sorry. I should have stopped at least 10 more minutes earlier. Back to you, Atul.
Thank you. There aren't too many questions yet in the chat. So if anybody does have questions, you can raise your hand and
Wonderful.
I'll unmute you. But there were 2, so we can begin with that.
Yes.
First one is from Priyanka, and she has a question about elimination. I think it's about sitting on the pot. She's asked, can we sit in Malasana for 10 minutes as suggested by many yoga teachers?
Absolutely, yes. Absolutely. But you should look at the luxury of time you have. Can you do Malasana and then sit on the pot? Will it help you make it easier and quicker? Just look at your, practical issues and definitely Malasana will help. It is just squatting. It is that Indian style of course squatting, right? Yes, you can.
Okay. The second question I think is related to fasting. Shanti is asking, can we have dinner the previous night and when should we finish our dinner?
The previous night. As usual, whenever you usually eat your dinner, please eat your dinner. But understand your fasting is not counted from yesterday's dinner, which generally people do. But Nature Cure says it is not when you ate your last dinner. It is from the time you missed the meal. When did you miss a meal? Today morning breakfast is when you missed the meal, isn't it? So you have hardly done 3-4 hours of fasting. That's all. That is why it is simpler and safer, is what I was trying to tell you. That is why it doesn't harm. But longer fasts have different rules, how to do it, when to do it. All of that has to be learned before we do it. That's why I was sharing, because it's a public forum. I don't want anybody to get into trouble following these general statements. So this can be harmless. Anybody does. But be careful. You don't really have to, like when first time if you're doing, don't put yourself into trouble. If I'm doing it for the first time, all you need to do is just watch. If you're able to do till 10 o'clock, if you are eating every day at 7 o'clock, today you're able to push it till 10 o'clock, that itself is a great achievement. Every week on that particular day, keep pushing it a little slowly and come to the lunchtime. Don't be in a hurry. See, all these are things which we need to adopt into our life for lifetime. These are not something I will do till I lose weight or till I get rid of my diabetes and then I'll come back to the same old practices and the same old story will repeat. There are so many clients, they do so well, they reverse so many problems they have. They come with a laundry list and tell me, Madam, all this went away, all this disappeared, all this decreased. And finally, do you know what they'll ask me? When can I go back to my normal diet? I don't know whether to cry or to laugh at that moment. I feel whole of my energy and time has been wasted for so many hours sitting with them. And they've not understood the basics of I have to do it for life. Because I was doing everything wrong, I have got into trouble. Now I have to correct all of them. And if I have to be healthy, I have to do it for lifetime. It was not for 1 month, 2 months, or 2 years and getting back to that is the normal diet for them. This is not an abnormal thing, and that's the normal. So I don't know how to respond for such things, but yes, it's important to educate ourselves, coach ourselves, and go slowly. Don't be in a hurry. The minute you get unpleasant experiences during fasting or anything you do, you'll stop doing it for life. So don't be in a hurry. Be very slow. Take your time. We have life in front of us. Why are you hurrying? Take 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 10 weeks. Don't compete with anybody else. If you can get better with yourself, the next week when you do, I can do it till 10 o'clock this week. Tomorrow, next week, I can do it till 10:15. Good. Good progress. Every week, keep doing. Very soon, you'll come to a place where you'll be able to do it very well without any challenges. Of course, first few weeks, mind will keep asking, oh, I want masala dosa, I want idli, somebody else is eating something, somebody else is drinking coffee, I want, it'll keep crying. But you have to coach yourself. Tell all those which I have discussed in the last couple of hours and say, I am doing it for myself, to heal myself, to repair myself, to clean myself. And it will start listening. And slowly, slowly, when this, you know, body gets adjusted or understands, you will be able to push it far away. Okay. So hope that answers your question. Any
Yeah,
other question, Atul?
actually, there are a bunch of which have come up. So, quickly answer each. The
Yes.
next one is, can teenagers do fasting?
Absolutely. Everybody needs to do. Whoever wants to be healthy, whoever wants to be lean, whoever wants to prevent diseases should be doing fasting. But listen to your body. Okay. So pick up that day where you don't have to, go to college, spend a lot of mental energy and physical activity. Pick those days, Saturday or Sunday, and you will be able to do it successfully. Yes, next.
The next question is from Kashmira. She's saying that every morning she feels the pressure to go, but it's not completely eliminated.
Hmm.
Not sure if she has a question, but that's she said.
Okay. No, I understand. One, there could be lack of fiber in your food, which is what absorbs water, adds bulk to the fishes, and also helps it move through the colon. Look at that and increase your fiber. But if you're somebody who has enrolled into the course, don't worry at all. I will take care of that. And drink good amount of water. It doesn't mean you have to drink too much of water. Don't. That's also a toll on the brain and the kidneys. So drink good amount of water. And also, physical activity is very important to bring in the movement, the peristaltic movement in the large intestine. Do some yoga, do some walking, do whatever physical activity you want to. And most important, calm down your mind. Don't think there is something wrong down below. It is above in the mind which needs to relax. Unless the mind relax, it's not going to happen. And also you need enough conserved energy to push through that long colon. So conserve energy. Don't do anything unwanted. And slowly, slowly it will happen. Have some patience. Next question.
Meena is asking, even if she doesn't have constipation, should she do this? I think she's referring to doing it every morning. She's asking.
What is she referring to? Sitting, squatting, or what's that?
I think just building this habit of daily elimination fast.
Ah, of course. If you don't have any, what is your problem? Go sit, done. That's all. No. So if it's happening daily basis, it's wonderful. But observe, is it happening completely? So it should never feel undone. You know that feeling, right? If it is happening completely first thing in the morning, yes, please do. Continue to do. You are blessed. Yes. Next question.
Nagashri is asking if detox and fasting mean the same and if they achieve the same results.
Okay. Fasting is not to eat anything or drink anything other than water. What is detox? You are not doing anything. Body is throwing out toxins, accumulated unwanted stuff on its own. So fasting helps that process to happen, you are not doing anything when it comes to detox. Did I answer the question? Was that the question?
I'm not sure, but I think so.
Okay, repeat the question. Let me understand.
The what she said is detox and fasting the same, and do they achieve the same results? Yeah.
Okay, achieving probably the same results might happen because you're doing this for that, but they are not the same. Hope you have understood. Okay, next question.
Govind is asking if sips of lemon water can be taken during fasting.
Anything other than water, you're not fasting. Fast is over, right? So it's very important. But I understand if you're never fasted and you're trying and you're dropping off your breakfast and trying to drink something, that will be a good attempt. But instead of lemon juice, I would say drink a glass of tender coconut water, sip on that, get used to it for a couple of weeks, 3, 4, how many ever weeks you want to, and then start going on to water. That would be a better idea. Next question.
Radhika is saying that oftentimes after she fasts, the day after she fasts, elimination becomes difficult the next day. Uh,
Hmm.
so what should she do?
Okay. Watch on, drinking enough water, resting well, and first thing in the morning, if it doesn't happen, don't worry too much. The worry itself can create trouble. Don't worry, and slowly it should settle in. But be mindful. As I said, fiber-rich food, water, physical activity, and calming down the mind.
The next question is from Anusha. She's asking if even if she has a good morning routine with effortless elimination, should she still sit for 10 minutes?
That's what I said. You have to observe. If you feel completely done, then there is no need, right? But a lot of people don't know what that means. If there is a complete elimination, absolutely okay for even if it is happening in 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes. But the point of sitting there is to ensure that everything is out and you have a feeling completed or not completed. If it is undone, you need to sit as long as it needs to be.
Okay. The next question is from Manish. He's asking about 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. window of fasting,
Hmm.
and if that's a good idea, and if malnutrition can be fixed through that.
Okay. Now you're asking two different questions here. 6 to 6, yes, it is called intermittent fasting, a good idea. But again, I would repeat what I said. It should not be imposed on yourself or anybody else. It should simply happen. I eat my breakfast around 10:30 or 11 o'clock in the morning, and I eat my dinner around 5 or 6. Did I start doing it yesterday? No, I've taken decades to come here, right? So, this kind of changes should take slow and gradual paths to reach there, pushing the breakfast and pulling the dinner. Keep doing this, play around, and slowly you will come to that, which your body settles with comfort. It is not about exact 6 a.m., exact 6 p.m. Looking at the clock and suffering is not done. Okay, that is what you need to understand. I think there was an add on question. The second question, what was that, Atul?
He's asking if malnutrition can be fixed through
Oh
fasting.
no, you can't fix the malnutrition with this. You have to eat right the rest of the time. Here, you're only giving rest to the gut. And of course, because of the rest to the gut, when you eat food, it'll get broken down and absorbed in a better way. Digestion absorption happens much better than earlier, but it is not going to fix the malnutrition. Okay? You have to supply the nutrients through the food and food alone.
Okay. Usha is asking about drinking beverages like tea or coffee and how it's become habitual. I
Mhm.
think you already answered this, but basically she's asking if it's allowed to drink tea or coffee during fasting.
Absolutely no. That's the last thing you should be doing.
The next question from Anjali. She's saying, I can manage the hunger while fasting, but I start to get irritable and angry.
Yes, right. Why are you angry? Because somebody else is getting to eat. I am not getting to eat. Right. So it is very important to see why you're fasting. What is the goal of fasting? Understand why you are fasting. Once you understand, Now mind will not ask. Of course, first, second, third week it might, keep looking here and there and missing things, but very soon it'll settle, saying, okay, this lady is going to not eat, she's going to stay without food till this time, okay, I better shut up, and it'll shut up.
Uh, Somebody's asking if they can take Triphala daily.
Well, why do you take Triphala? Because it's not happening naturally. Our whole effort should be to make it happen naturally, not using something adding on, whether it is an external extracted fiber or Triphala or any drug or supplement, any of these. You have to have a natural elimination, complete elimination first thing in the morning without anything. People are there who tell, if I drink a cup of tea, it'll happen. If I drink a cup of coffee, it'll happen. Otherwise, it doesn't happen. Right? So we are here to let go of all those practices, but it takes time. You just have to continue to do, as I said, 4 things when it comes to elimination: fiber rich food, good amount of water, physical activity, and resting your self or calming down your mind is what is important. Look at all aspects, see where is the gap, and adopt it. It'll happen. Yeah.
The next question from Hema. She's asking if elimination is happening more than once or twice a day, what does it say about gut health?
Right. It can happen more than one time, but if the stool is well formed, it is not sticky, it is not smelly, it is not gassy, and it is not troubling you, you're feeling uncomfortable, pain or cramp, none of this is associated, then perfectly fine. It might happen after every meal, no worries. It should not be loosies. It should not be very hard and dry. None of it should happen. If it is normal, absolutely okay. But if it is associated with any of these, we need to look into where is it going wrong and what are we doing wrong. I think, Atul, we have gone past 8 o'clock. Look at important questions, or just say how many more questions you want to take, maybe 5 minutes or 10 minutes. I am absolutely okay. Keep answering this as long as people want to, but I don't want to trouble everybody beyond 8 o'clock. So anybody wants to leave can leave. But if you have another few questions for next 10 minutes, let's answer.
Okay, the questions are still coming in. So if you want to stay for 5 minutes, we can keep answering. But thank you,
Yeah, I have
everyone.
absolutely no problem. Next 10 minutes we can do.
Right now, there are just two. So Soumya is asking, she's had gallbladder surgery.
Mhm.
Is it safe for her to fast?
Absolutely. What we have discussed till now, the half day fasting doesn't have any problem. You can do, but just watch what's happening. What are the symptoms coming out of your body? Listen to your body. You don't need an expert outside. Just listen, and you can safely do this half a day fast.
Hemlata is asking, what if we see undigested food particles in the stool? What am
Hmm.
I doing wrong?
Okay. Chewing has not happened. The problem is in the other end, right? It is very important to chew very well and eat slowly. If I remember, my grandmother, both sides, and everybody of that age would say, slow down, sit down and eat. Why are you hurrying? What did our parents say? Do it quickly, hurry up. So, this is what we have learned. And it is very important to eat slowly and chew properly, and that should solve. And if it doesn't solve, there could be, improper breaking down in the stomach or the gut. We need to look into it. Yeah.
The next question is from Soumya. She's
Mhm.
asking about lots of gas or flatulence.
Mm.
What does it say about food habits?
Yes, of course. It needs a little more understanding. Maybe if she is in the course, I will touch upon it during dals and grams. But if you're not in the course, let me just give you small little tips. Look at how much of grams and dals you're eating, and keep reducing the amount of dals and grams, nuts and seeds, and the animal products, and see if it helps. Keep decreasing till the point where the gas stops. Okay. Shall we take last two questions?
Yeah, okay. Somebody's asking what oils are best for cooking.
Okay. This needs a lot of understanding. So I don't want to answer this question. Uh, what shall I say for this? Simply just generalizing, I will say cold pressed oils and the oils which has been used in your family for generations together, but do not use too much of oils. It's not a good idea. Okay, right.
Okay, last question from Manish. He says he's following a Ayurvedic routine for oil massage to fix his
Mhm.
vata. Can adding healthy fats fix it?
I did not get your question. Are you talking about adding fats into the consumption or onto your body? I did not understand, honestly.
Uh, yeah, even I didn't fully understand actually.
Okay. So maybe we should end the session here. Thank you all for joining us. It was a great pleasure sharing some little things which we wanted to. And all those people who have enrolled into the course, see you all on Monday at 6 o'clock. I start the session exactly at 6 o'clock. So please come into the session at least 5 minutes earlier so that you don't miss. Every session, I start with an important tool for the mind. Don't miss it. So see you all on Monday, 6 o'clock in the evening. Atal, if you want to add something, you can finish.
That's all from my side. Thank you.
So, okay.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
all. Namaste.
You can end the meeting.